Ladies and gentlemen, picture this. The wind slicing through the air, the roar of a mechanical beast beneath you, and eyes from every corner of the street fixed on the sheer presence of your ride. Not because it's loud, but because it looks like it rolled straight out of a science fiction dream into reality. This is not just a motorcycle. This is a rebellion on two wheels. This is the Neiman Marcus limited edition fighter. And if you've never heard of it, buckle up, because by the end of this ride, you'll know exactly why it costs a jaw-dropping $11 million and why it's earned its place in the realm of legends. Only about 45 of these exist on the entire planet. That's not a typo. 45. Not hundreds, not thousands. Each one is a statement, not just of wealth, but of taste, rarity, and raw performance. Built by the famed Confederate Motors, now Curtis Motorcycles, this beast was commissioned exclusively by luxury retailer Neiman Marcus. And from the very first glance, it's clear, this isn't a motorcycle built for the masses. It's a mechanical sculpture, a rolling piece of art born from obsession, innovation, and a refusal to follow rules. Start with the design. It doesn't just break the mold, it melts it down. The fighter's frame is carved from a single block of aluminum. Not welded, not bolted, forged. One solid, flowing piece that cradles a monstrous engine and holds the entire machine together with a minimalistic elegance you simply won't find anywhere else. It looks like it was built for a post-apocalyptic future, where only the bold survive. The lines are raw, almost skeletal, exposing every detail. The suspension, the backbone, the soul of the machine, like a stripped-down war machine with nothing to hide. And then comes the power. Nestled inside that spine is a thunderous 120 cubic inch V-twin engine. That's nearly 2000 cc for those keeping score. This thing isn't just loud, it's a symphony of combustion. Push the throttle and it launches with a savagery that can only be described as controlled chaos. It's raw torque, no gimmicks, no filters, no apologies. The horsepower, north of 190. But numbers alone don't do it justice. It's the way it delivers that power, visceral, direct, with a fury that makes your heart race and your knuckles white. When you ride it, you don't just move, you dominate. But the Neiman Marcus fighter isn't just about brute force. Hidden in its details are some of the most cutting-edge, unconventional engineering choices ever made in motorcycle design. For starters, forget traditional geometry. The frame leans forward aggressively, and the riding position feels more like you're piloting a fighter jet than a motorcycle. That's not by accident. Everything is designed for maximum forward momentum, aerodynamics, and speed. Even the headlight, narrow, almost alien, cuts through the dark like a blade. The suspension is custom tuned to this exact bike. Not a generic setup pulled from a catalog. Every inch was built for precision and performance. And then you notice the wheels, machined with the kind of detail you usually only see in aerospace tech. The fighter doesn't ride, it glides, like it's slicing through air with surgical accuracy. The braking system is oversized and race-inspired, because let's face it, when you're taming this kind of power, stopping is just as important as going. Every cable, every bolt, every curve was designed with intention. This is engineering poetry, and you feel it in every ride. And that price tag, $11 million. It's not hype. It's not just a sticker shock. It's the result of extreme rarity, outrageous craftsmanship, and an aura that commands awe. This isn't a bike you walk into a showroom and test ride. You don't get to compare it to anything else. It lives in its own league. The few owners of this masterpiece don't just own a motorcycle, they own a piece of art history. Something that's whispered about in online forums and only seen in real life by the luckiest few. Even die-hard motorcyclists, people who've ridden everything from Ducatis to Harleys to custom street monsters, are stunned when they see one in person. On places like Art Motorcycles, where riders know their machines, the reaction is always the same, speechless. It's the kind of bike that doesn't just grab attention, it holds it hostage. And the more you learn, the more you realize just how much thought, money, and raw passion went into building each one. Now here's something even more hidden. Many people don't know this. The fighter was originally listed in the Neiman Marcus Christmas book, a high-end catalog famous for its once-in-a-lifetime luxury offerings. But no one expected this. The bike was launched as a halo product, more symbol than sale, more dream than commodity. But once collectors and enthusiasts realized what this thing truly was, it turned from novelty into obsession. Years later, one model of the fighter shocked the world when it sold at auction for over $11 million, instantly claiming the title of the most expensive motorcycle ever sold. And here's the kicker. Despite all that exclusivity, despite the insane price, the fighter isn't locked away in a museum or display case like some fragile relic. It's fully functional. It was meant to be ridden, pushed, challenged. The name itself, fighter, isn't just branding. It's a warning. This bike wasn't built for the timid or the tame. It was built for those who don't flinch in the face of adrenaline. The Neiman Marcus fighter exists at the intersection of wealth, rebellion, and design genius. It's a defiant symbol in a world of mass production and bland repetition. It's a declaration that motorcycles aren't just transportation, they're statements, expressions of identity, power, and untamed spirit. It's what happens when you give engineers, artists, and visionaries a blank check and tell them, don't hold back. And so, if you ever find yourself lucky enough to see one in the wild, stop and stare. Because you're not just looking at a bike. You're looking at the pinnacle of what happens when imagination meets metal. You're looking at a machine that redefines what's possible on two wheels. You're looking at the Neiman Marcus limited edition fighter, and you'll never forget it.